Welcome to Taylormade Film Business Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping you start a successful film production company or any business for that matter. Now, here are your hosts, Bridget and Tony Charles.
Welcome to the Taylormade Film Business Podcast, the podcast dedicated to bringing you everything regarding to film production industry and the business side of things too. We put it in one little nice package so you have all of the information you need to start a successful business.
I know that's right.
Yes. Thanks guys again for joining. I am your host, Bridget Charles.
And I am Tony Charles.
And we are Taylormade Film Company.
Film Company.
Thus the name Taylormade
Episode 7.
Yes, episode 7, guys.
Thanks
amazing. For tuning in.
Yeah,
we are developing some loyal fans, and I'm super excited about that.
And it's amazing. We didn't even have that in our calendar.
We did not have it. Not a podcast in our calendar, in our it wasn't projected for the future or anything. And we are 7 episodes in, so this is exciting, guys. Hopefully you guys are getting the content, you're enjoying it, you are applying it to your businesses and to your everyday life, and we're going to keep bringing it to you. So keep tuning in, subscribe, follow us, leave those comments and feedback of what you want to see and hear, and we look forward to bringing it to you.
And if this is your first time listening to this podcast, go back and listen, our last few episodes.
Yes.
We had some great information for you. And once again, we have way more coming your way.
A lot more.
This is Taylormade Film Company. This is our company. And we're talking about, everything that we went through. And now our goal is to share it with you.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what we've been doing from day one.
So true.
So this is not scripted. This is like totally raw, and this is information that you need to know if you're to start a film company or any business.
Any business, we always say, or any business, because guys, this is not only applicable to the film production industry, to the filmmakers. This is applicable to anyone that wants to start a successful business. And we're here to share with you, to actually grow with you, to guide you. So please do follow us and stay tuned and subscribe and all of those good things to make sure that you never miss an episode.
Well, you have to hit that bell.
Hit that bell, download us, download the episode, subscribe. So, Tony, let's just jump right into it. This is episode number 7.
Yes.
In the previous episodes, we talked about how to build a business. We have parts 1 and 2, starting a business 101, part 1 and 2. And then the previous episode, we talked about creating contracts.
Yes.
Now that all of that set up, your business is good to go, you've protected yourself legally, what's the next step?
You got to build your resume.
Build your resume, guys. So
you know
true.
what? Stop the press.
Yes.
Guys, please, do not use a cell phone for professional work.
Oh, that's one of your pet peeves, Tony.
No disrespect to the cell. What's the latest cell phone? iPhone 11, right?
iPhone 11 Pro Max, Super Max, all of that. I know,
because my daughter, she has one. I know you can get great footage out of the cell phone. I know,
that's the thing. You can record a whole feature film on a cell phone. You can, but don't do that.
Do not use a cell phone for professional work.
Don't do that.
We had a call last week. Was it last week? And this guy, he was shooting a real estate video, and he was using a cell phone. And when he called me, he was like, "Tony, can you come and help me?" And I was like, "Okay, what are you doing?" He was getting a pretty good amount of money to actually shoot a real estate commercial. But once again, you can actually use the cell phone, because you can get great footage, but you gotta have, come on, you gotta upgrade your gear. Come on, man.
Exactly. That's true, Tony.
Yeah, you have to.
That's absolutely true. But with that being said, all of that you said, ultimately what that comes down to is just investing in your company and investing in yourself, right?
You have to, exactly.
You have to invest in yourself. I would say that the very first rule of thumb is that you have to invest in yourself.
You got to. And like I said in one of the episodes, you don't have to have the latest gear to do that. You can start with a DSLR. You can get good footage out of that. All you need is really go out there and try. But
that's true.
The cell phone, this is not professional.
That's true.
Please do not use a cell phone for professional work.
That's true. But Tony, before we even get into gear, why don't we take a couple of steps back? I think before they even talk about gear, the first thing that they need to do is learn the business. With that being said, they need to invest in themselves.
You will have to.
That can be with traditional schools.
Yes.
And how else can they learn about the trade?
But but you think about it this way. Just like I said, I went to school for filmmaking. Was it a mistake? I don't want to say it's a mistake. The only thing I know for sure, what I know now, if I knew then, I wouldn't.
Yes.
Because I wasted time. Money.
But you're saying that film school is not necessary.
Yeah,
if you want to do it to make, connections and network, absolutely do it. But if you're doing it just to learn the craft, it sounds like you're basically, saying or thinking that, you don't have to take that route. There's other ways to learn.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
That makes
and
sense.
We're not saying that school's not important. Don't.
Yes. But you don't have to do the traditional classroom setting.
Education is
That's
key.
true.
You have to go to school, but if you can't afford to go to school, you don't need it.
That's
for
true.
Filmmaking.
That's true, not for filmmaking.
No,
Some of the other industries, maybe like doctors and lawyers and different stuff like that, because you need to learn. But filmmaking, I think that's a lot of hands-on, and you learn a lot when you're in the field. And with that being said, a lot of people actually choose to go to quote-unquote YouTube University, as they say. There's other platforms that's online, like different courses that you can take that you can actually use to learn as well.
Because really, you have to, once again, if you have a company, you have to master your skills.
Exactly.
And it's a pretty simple way to do that. Don't keep your equipment in the closet. You have to go ahead and go outside and shoot something.
Exactly.
I don't care if it's you shooting birds flying, leaves, whatever the case may be. Go out there and shoot something.
You have to use it. You have to use the equipment to feel comfortable.
That's how you get better.
That's true. Practice make perfect, as they say. They always said that when I was growing up. I never quite understood it, but now I finally get it. So you practice, and when you get on a shoot for a client, then you feel confident because you've done it so many times, basically. So.
And once again, just like you said, you told me, listen, you need to know how to get behind the camera. And I was like, no, I have a crew. Remember what happened? I had a client who asked me to shoot a music video, and that day, my camera operator didn't show up.
Oh yeah.
I had to jump behind the camera and shoot.
Yes.
That's why it's important, very important, to know your gear. And I'm not saying, you need to know how to do lighting or sound, but you gotta have some kind of knowledge just in case if you have a contract. Sometimes you can't back out of it.
That's so true.
You have to.
I agree with
keep going, and that's why when I shot my first video, and it was a pretty decent video. Considering it was my first time using the camera, not using the camera, but first time actually shooting a music video, and for a client. And that's why it's important to get your equipment. Go outside, a beautiful Saturday, go and film something, and film your friends, and like I said, even if you film birds and leaves,
film. And also, it's a good idea to take that footage and even learn how to edit, because you're gonna need to know the post production process. That's another conversation that we'll be actually talking about post production episode number 8. But I do agree with you on that. And once you actually take the time and you learn about the industry and you start to use your gear and you get used to it, then you will know when it's time to upgrade your gear.
Exactly.
So you have to invest in your business, like you were saying. You always have to grow and learn, and that also means sometimes trying to save up and get the best equipment, the best gear, right, that you need to use.
And a lot of time when you have great gear, and it's more pay. It's
so
more
true.
pay.
You can charge those fees for when you have better gear, when you've practiced and you know your craft and you're confident. And not only that actually will give you the platform to be able to have footage, right?
Exactly.
Because we're talking about building your resume.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a really good way to build your portfolio, right? Just by shooting projects, that you otherwise wouldn't have shot, but you're just trying to do it just to get that footage to put on your website and build your resume, right?
You have to. Because you got to understand, clients sometimes, the first thing they're going to ask you, let me see what you've done. If you don't have anything, you don't have to show, okay, this is my short film from last year. It could be something simple, because, like I said, it's important to really know your equipment. And please, once again, guys, stay away from the cell phones for major work. You got to have the right gear, and invest in your gear. I understand some of y'all can't. If you can't afford to buy a nice piece of equipment, you have the option to rent. And if you go back and listen to one of our episodes, we talked about renting versus buying. I think this is important.
Yes.
For new filmmakers, new companies, and you have to go back and listen to that episode because there's a lot of good information in there for you.
That's so true. Tony, I totally agree with you on everything that you're saying. You know, like you have to build your resume, you have to pick up your equipment, you have to use it when you see that it's time to upgrade, you upgrade. And sometimes you may actually have to find clients and you may have to call them up and say, hey, this is my company and I'm looking to build my portfolio. Would you like me to shoot something for you? So we know that that's the thing. When and if you're going to do that, what would you say? How would you approach that situation basically?
You know what? We all want to work, to get a paycheck. But sometimes, as a new company, you don't have the resume. You don't have pretty much nothing to show for. Clients not going to hire you if you don't have it. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to work for free sometimes. Even if it's not totally free, but you're going to have to find some way to either barter for something in return. It could be like a location. Maybe they have a location, you can use that location. You can say, I will film something for you, so just so, I can use your location. Or
correct.
It doesn't have to be a location. It could be anything that you think would be usable for your business. And I think you can approach it that way.
So true.
Because like I said, as a new company, if you don't have a resume, it's going to be hard for you to get business.
That's so
but
true.
sometimes you're going to have to offer services either for free or for, anything that can help you.
That's so true. I do agree with you. Yep. And a lot of people use actually what they call free to fee when you're starting out. So what free to fee is you may have to reach out and do something for someone for free because you don't have the experience, you don't have the resume, you don't have the portfolio to be able to showcase your demo and your work. So you may have to do something for free at first, especially for companies that can actually give you the spotlight, right? You may have a company that's a pretty big company in your area. They need footage and you provide them with that footage. They send it out to their customers and instantly like you become a household name. So that's an instance where free would actually pay off. And then after you start to build your resume and your portfolio, you get really good at it, you can actually start to get those fees and you can increase the fees per project because now you have something to show for it. People work with you and they know how good you are at your craft.
Another thing, you have to build relationships. Just because you're working for free, you never know. What if this company want to use you again for another project? This time they will pay you. That's why even if you even like you have something, you have a project that you're doing for free, it's important to do just you got to put the work in. 100%, because even if it's for free, you're not getting paid, but you don't know what's going to happen.
Your work speak for itself.
Exactly.
Yes, free or not. Right. Yes, you always give it your all.
Yeah, you have to.
Yes, that's so true. I'm with you on that, Tony. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's free. I don't have to do my best because they're not paying anyways." That's not so. You don't know how far that project is going to go, who's going to see it, and a lot of times people need to understand that companies hire people, one, that they feel good about, two, basically based on word of mouth. If someone say, man, they came, they did this for me and they just killed it, they nailed it, they came, they showed up early, they were actually really good to work with, they had a great attitude, their crew, the crew was good, their gear was on point, there's nothing in the world like free advertisement. Word of mouth, there's no other advertisement that is better than that, and again, that's just, basic marketing and business, Word of mouth is always going to outweigh all other forms of advertisement.
Because people not only want a good product, but they also want a good experience.
That's so true. That's so true. That's so true. And we know that from experience. When you work with someone and they come to set and they're not a pleasure to work with, it takes one person to say, don't work with them. And you guys know that bad news or gossip actually travels faster than anything else. So you don't want to be labeled as that person or as that company. You actually want what people say about you and about your company to always be positive, right? Because it takes you showing up to the, like to somebody's set or actually to do a project, you go in with a bad attitude, you're nasty, and you're just not pleasant to work with and they don't have a good experience. Believe me, the whole world is going to know about that.
It's very important to add value first. You got to add value first. It's important to, like I said, we've done a lot of free projects in the past. And recently we just had a call from, a client that we did something for in the past, and now she basically said, I'm doing a project. I would love to hire you guys. And I think it was great to actually for her to even, checked in with us, and she wants to hire us. And we did something for free in the past. And I remember like, man, we spent at least 12 hours on set filming something for nothing.
Yes,
no
it was
money.
a long time.
No
but
money.
It paid off because, again, that was word of mouth, and we've gotten a lot of business since then, right?
Exactly.
Because of that one client. They didn't pay financially, but the payoff from that experience have been, like that's been super fantastic. We couldn't have even bought that type of, advertisement. Like we couldn't even afford to pay for it. But just that one client, which was a pretty high profile client, just giving us the okay, saying, okay, that they're excellent to work with, they're great. That's actually paid off like 10 times over, tenfold, as they say, right?
Yes.
So you can never go wrong. And again, guys, when you're starting out and you're building your resume, sometimes you may actually have to do free to fee. That's not to say free or cheap. You don't want to undervalue yourself.
You don't ever want to say
You don't
that.
want to say, oh, I'll just do it for free. You're just walking around town, I'll do it for free, because then you don't have a business, you have a charity.
Exactly.
Right? Like you're just giving away like free things. And what you have to understand is you've paid for your business license to set your business up. You pay for your gear and your equipment. You can't always work for free or give it away for free. But when you're starting out and you're building your resume, that may be one of those things that you just have to do just to make sure that you're on the right page, right? So you always want to keep that in mind.
So you should never you should never offer free or cheap.
Yes, that's so true. That's so true, guys.
Because you always got to check the budget.
Yes, exactly.
Even if it's $1, so I need to know how much.
That's true. And Tony, with that being said, they can actually just go back to our previous episode, which is I think it was episode number 6, where we talked about creating contracts. We talked about the budget in there, right? Yeah, you always want to gauge a customer or a client first to see what their budget is, right? To make sure that you guys can agree. They may, I may want to pay $10,000. If you say $1,000, then you've sold yourself short, right? This is the extra $9,000. Perhaps you can meet in the middle and make sure that everyone leaves happy and it's worth everyone's time.
Yeah. So it's important to ask the client, what is the budget?
Absolutely. Okay. When you're building your resume, that's very, very important. And don't be afraid, and believe in yourself, right? You have done all of this training, you have your gear, you have up your gear game, right? Mm-hmm. You have been practicing, you have been building your resume, your portfolio, and now it's time to go out there and do it. Yeah. You really just, you have to step out on faith and just do it. You really have to, and believe in yourself. Yeah. You have to believe in yourself before others can believe in you.
Yes, but one of the easiest things to do right now is market yourself.
Yes.
It's out there.
Social media, 101, your website, and again, word of mouth is going to trump all of that. So you have to make sure that you're out there. So just put yourself out there and just start to build your resume today. Don't wait; it's the perfect time. Yeah,
because like you said last time in our last episode, we talked about how back in the days where you have to spend a lot of money for TV ads and billboards. Nowadays, you don't need none of that.
You don't need to do that to build your resume. You don't have to do that anymore. So guys, like Tony said, you have to go out there, build your resume, build your portfolio. This is what we covered in episode number 7 here. Mm-hmm. Go back and catch up on the other ones where there is more valuable content, but you need to get started. Go ahead and go out there, pick up your gear and start to build your resume, build your portfolio.
All it takes. Don't leave your gear in the closet. Go out there and shoot something, and shoot your friends, your family, your co-workers, and and go back home and start editing it.
Yep. So guys, speaking of editing, episode number 8, we'll be talking about post-production.
Yes.
So we don't want to overdo it here for episode number 7. We do want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode number 7. Episode number 8, we'll be taking a deeper dive into the post-production process. So again, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, download these episodes, give us 5 stars if you've enjoyed this content. Like, subscribe, turn on your notifications,
and hit that bell.
Mm-hmm. So guys, this has been the Taylormade Film Business Podcast. I am your host, Bridget Charles.
And I am Tony Charles.
Until next time, stay safe.
Wash hands and wear your mask.
Take care. Peace.
Take care. You're listening to
Taylormade Podcast.